What's up everybody? My name is Tiara, aka Bookworm Babe, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing an Indo-Caribbean book haul. So it's a bit of a different book haul because I didn't just purchase these books. I've kind of purchased them over the last couple months, and these are the ones that I haven't read. I've gotten for Christmas. I purchased just kind of one-offs that I've seen and they were really interesting to me. So I thought it would be a really great idea to just take a day and spotlight these books, and I would really like to know too if anybody has read them already and what feedback you might have for me on them. Like, what did you think of these books if you've happened to have read them already? Also, big shout out, if you guys notice, I am wearing my Bronco Diary crop shirt. You can't really see the crop because I'm too short. But this is one of our shirts for the merch. If you guys have seen it on Instagram, super cute. We have the girl from our logo here. The sleeves say Indo-Caribbean Queen on them, and it's really cozy, warm. It's not too like thin of a shirt, so it's nice when it's really cold outside but you still want to be like cropped and cute, so can't go wrong. So without further ado, let's get into the video. The first book that I have is called Maharani's Misery, and this is Narratives of a Passage from India to the Caribbean, and it's by Verene A. Shepherd. So this I had picked up last year. I was meaning to read it a lot sooner, but obviously I didn't. My reading tends to be all over the place, and even though I tell myself I'm gonna read something like a lot sooner, I don't end up doing it. Totally separate, but just to give you guys an idea of what this book is about, let's read the back and see. So this book continues the ongoing archaeological project of excavating gender-differentiated data on the 19th century post-slavery relocation of bonded labor to the colonial Caribbean. In a broader context, it contributes to that genre of historical writing that focuses on the exercise of social power and authority through the medium of socio-sexual manipulation by empowered males over subaltern women. The book combines documentary evidence with a surrounding narrative interpretation in order to highlight the experiences of the young Indian woman, Maharani, who was raped and died subsequently on board the ship Alan Shaw that sailed from Calcutta to colonial Guyana in 1885. So I had picked up this book because I was in the midst of researching for an article, and so Maharani's Misery and her story was what came up as I was researching, and I found it, I mean, ultimately really disturbing because she was a very young girl. I think she was about 13, and she was raped very brutally to the point that it caused her death, right? So these are obviously not things that are new to us. We know these things happen on a regular basis, especially when we think of the indenture ships, plantations, and all of that. These are not irregular occurrences. So I am looking forward to diving deeper into this. I know it's going to be quite heavy, but I think it's going to be a really great piece in terms of gender data that it mentions, along with more information on Maharani's story, because I only know kind of the bare bones of it. I don't really know the in-depth, so that's what I'm looking forward to getting more context into. The next book that I have, I picked up this year and I'm super looking forward to it. This is called Cascadoo, a Story, and it's by Kamalo Deen. So this book didn't have a literal description on the back of it, but I had obviously read it when I purchased it off Amazon, so I just pulled up the Amazon so I can read it for you guys. So Cascadoo tells the story of a tragic period in the life of a Caribbean immigrant to New York. Troubled by loneliness, failing health, and a longing for a life as he remembers it in his native Trinidad, he struggles desperately to complete work on a novel he'd been writing for so many years. As he stumbles towards his ultimate goal, he's haunted by memories of past relationships and thoughts about the true significance of his life. The story is told in the form of letters, poetry, and recollections. Cascadoo combines strong feelings of joy and suffering, love and loneliness, nostalgia and doom, and provides compelling storytelling throughout. So that is our description of that book. I was really into that when I read the description. It had come up in my suggestions when I was on Amazon one day, and I read it and literally just purchased it. It was super impulsive, but I honestly couldn't help it. It sounds really great, and I know, you know, so many Indo-Caribbeans do migrate to big cities like New York and Toronto, and coming here, I mean, I was born here, but I can only imagine what it's like for people when they first come here, and you know, the differences are so stark, whereas between the Caribbean and, you know, North America, and they have to adapt and find their way around. So I'm really looking forward to exploring that book further. The next book that I picked up a couple weeks ago actually. This is He Drowned She in the Sea, and this is by Shani Mootoo. This book I have seen so many times and honestly been wanting to read for the longest time, and I don't know why, but it took me a while to get to it. Story of my life, right? So, synopsis. Harry St. George is a landscape gardener haunted by memories of his boyhood on the Caribbean island of Guanacaspar during the Second World War and after. His widowed mother was a proud, independent woman trapped by circumstances. It was her work as a laundress in Mrs. Sanga's well-to-do home that created in Harry a complex awareness for the way things are and set the stage for his enduring infatuation and longing for young Rose Sanga and all she came to embody for him. This longing has unexpected consequences when decades later, Harry and Rose cross paths again in Canada and all Harry thought he knew is challenged. Moving back and forth between Vancouver and Guanacaspar over several decades, He Drowned She in the Sea is a sensuous and suspenseful story about the danger of love against all odds and the sacrifice and euphoria that come with defying the life one is born into. Like, wow, right? Just off the sound of that description alone, like, it's amazing. And Shani Mootoo is basically a household name in Indo-Caribbean literature, which I'm sure many people know already. So needless to say, this is going to be so good. I can tell already. And honestly, I'm going to probably have to get to this a lot sooner than I was thinking before, because rereading it just got me super excited. And next, this book is also from another household Indo-Caribbean name. This is Butterfly in the Wind by Lakshmi. Persaud. So I know this book is also fairly popular and probably a lot of people have read it or at least heard of it. So let's jump into our synopsis. This fictionalized autobiography gives a richly woven portrait of Kamala's passage from early childhood to the point where she leaves her family, Passia Village, and Trinidad to attend university in the UK. It gives a vivid and inward picture of a Caribbean Indian community still in touch with its roots, seen from the developing perspective of a young woman at the crossroads of diverse social, cultural, and religious influences. The portrait bears witness to the moral strengths of her community, as well as showing Kamala's growing awareness of the repressions and hypocrisies of its treatment of women. From early in her life, Kamala is surprised by the contrary inner voice, which frequently gainsays the wisdom of her elders and betters. But Kamala is growing up in a traditional Hindu community, attending schools in colonial Trinidad, where rote learning is still the order of the day. She learns that this voice creates nothing but trouble and silences it. In this book, the voice is freed. Again, just gets you excited literally off reading the back. Like, this is another book that I think it's kind of similar to how Cascadoo is. It's something that's going to deal with, you know, that immigration, adapting to a new place. This is definitely going to deal with gender roles and obviously the treatment of women in Indo-Caribbean society and in Hindu traditions as well, because the family is Hindu. So super looking forward to this book. It sounds amazing. Next, I have another book that I think is also quite well known. This is called We Mark Your Memory, writing from the Descendants of Indenture. I've been seeing this for the longest time and it is a bit of an expensive book, so I kind of had to put it on hold for a while just because it is a bit pricier, but snatched it because I was so tired of looking at it on Amazon and being like, oh my god, I want to read this so bad. Especially because it has to do with Descendants of Indenture, and obviously there's that historical thing. Y'all know I'm a history nerd, so I want to read this bad. So okay, so synopsis, right? The abolition of slavery was the catalyst for the arrival of the first Indian indentured laborers. The sugar colonies of Guyana, Trinidad, South Africa, Fiji, they have all the year numbers that actually specifically mark the time. By the time indenture was abolished in the British Empire, over 1 million Indians had been contracted, and the overwhelming majority of whom never returned to India. Of course, we know that as well. Today, an Indian indentured labor diaspora is to be found in Commonwealth countries including Belize, Kenya, Malaysia, Sri Lanka, and more. Indenture, whereby individuals entered or were coerced into an agreement to work in a colony for a fixed period of labor, was a system open to abuse from recruitment to plantation. Hidden within this little-known system of 19th and early 20th century Indian migration under the British Empire, neglected stories of workers who were both exploited and unfree. To mark the centenary of the abolition of the system in the British Empire, this volume brings together for the first time new writing from across the Commonwealth. It is a unique attempt to explore through the medium of poetry and prose indentured heritage in the 21st century. So of course, like I said, you guys, because I love history so much and because indenture never seems to stop fascinating me, I am so very excited to read this, and I think I'm just kind of like scrolling through it right now. I think some of it is poetry, it's short stories, and specifically stories written by indentured laborers, I'm thinking, or at least something along that line. But it is going to be such a good read. Of course, like I can tell already, and I know a lot of people who have read this book as well, because I've had it recommended to me before by people, and they're like, you're gonna like this. This is a really good book. So I honestly expect nothing else but good things from it. The very last book, a new release, and this is also from Shani Mootoo, this came out last year, at the end of last year, is Polar Vortex. This book has done really well, like insanely well. It was a finalist for the Scotiabank Giller Prize, which is a pretty big literary prize here in Canada, if you're not familiar with it. And again, I've seen this on like Bookstagram, I've seen this just through like the Canadian literature world, and it has literally gotten like amazing feedback. So let's do our synopsis. Priya and Alexandra have moved from the city to a picturesque countryside town. What Alex doesn't know is that, in moving, Priya is running from her past, from a fraught relationship with an old friend, Prakash, who pursued her for many years, both online and off. Time has passed, however, and Priya, confident that her ties to Prakash have been successfully severed, decides it's once more safe to establish an online presence. In no time, Prakash finds Priya and contacts her. Impulsively, inexplicably, Priya invites him to visit her and Alex in the country, without ever having come clean with Alex about their relationship or its tumultuous end. Prakash's re-entry into Priya's life reveals cracks in her and Alex's relationship and brings into question Priya's true intentions. Are we ever free from our past? Can we ever truly know the people we are closest to? Seductive and tension-filled, Polar Vortex is a story of secrets, deceptions, and revenge. You guys can see me smiling already, like I'm so excited. So it sounds like Shani Mootoo definitely writes a lot of seductive novels, because He Drowned She in the Sea kind of said like seductive on the back too, so I really like the sound of that. That sounds really awesome. And like I said, I have heard nothing but good stuff about that book, and I'm honestly like so surprised that I've actually never read anything from Shani Mootoo before. I know that's absolutely like what the hell, but I'm getting to it. I've got 2 books from her, and like I said 100 times, I am literally thrilled to like get into her work. That is it for me today, guys. Those are the 6 books that I had, my Indo-Caribbean untouched reads for now. I hope you guys enjoyed this haul, and I hope you can let me know in the comments if you read these books or if you're likely going to be picking any of them up. I think honestly they all sounded amazing, and I will definitely keep you guys updated, of course, as I get through them. Right now this month I have a very specific reading list that I've been working through, so maybe for March I might do something different, or I might just go back to like freely picking books as I usually do. I'm not really sure yet, but like I said, you will all be first to know when I read these books as per usual. Thank you so much everyone for watching. Please give this video a big thumbs up, comment, subscribe to the channel. I'm so excited to be actually so close to like 200 subscribers. It is like honestly the most exciting feeling, and I can't thank you guys enough for your support. And like I promised, there are going to be a lot more videos that have to do with Indo-Caribbean culture and books this year, and as you guys can see, I've already started to kind of start with that little flow that I want to do, so I hope you guys are going to enjoy it. Until then, I will talk to you guys next week in my next video. Stay safe and take care. Bye!